This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
But it seemed like and maybe it'll pick up steam, I don't know. But it seemed like once we got to the Great American Bash, it started to wane. And then 87 came around and the purchase of Watts. I just wonder if the Great American Bash and the Super Summer Sizzler Tour, for as wonderful as they were back then, are the beginning of the turning points for this promotion.
Great American Bash is for sure. This tour, I mean, listen, the Super Summer Sizzler Tour sold out everywhere they went.
Right.
Great American Bash did not.
Right.
As a matter of fact, let's run through some.
Okay.
So, $28,000 at the gate for this TV taping. The next day we're in Richmond, Virginia. It is a bash event.
Yeah.
$115,000 at the Richmond Coliseum.
Okay.
It'll be Dusty and Magnum TA teaming with Baby Doll to take on the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette in a cage. And Jim would write, the bash headlined by the above main event drew an all-time gate record for the state of Virginia, which would last for a week. Baltimore, Maryland. The next day on the 19th is not a bash show, but they do $106,000 at the gate. It's a house show with about 10,000 fans. The next day they're in Greensville, South Carolina. They've got 62,000 fans there. It's a sellout. And Jim would say the event drew a sellout 6,000, paying 62 grand to break the all-time gate record set 2 weeks earlier. The next day, you guys are in Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is the 21st at the Cumberland County Arena. This is a bash event. It does $104,750. It's sold out. And then we did Freedom Hall 2 days later, after a little stop in Greenwood for a TV taping. And that's 101,000. It's a sellout, another main event, 6,000 plus fans, and a record. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of you are listening and thinking, well, boy, if this was the turning point, this is the beginning of the end, how's that possible if they're sold out? They sold out the arena shows.
Right.
Struggled in the stadiums. And they overspent on talent. And I'm not meaning talent, AKA the boys, because everybody knows they just fucked the boys on the payoffs, which is why Arn's going to leave in a couple of years.
Right.
No big deal, but you're not going to fuck Waylon Jennings.
No, nor George Jones, nor David Allen Coe, because he'll pull a gun on you. Yeah, you're right. They spent a lot of money. And so, yeah, that's a good point. As you can see, the fans, this is old Mid-Atlantic territory. The fans are into all this stuff. And,
look at them wearing rock and roll shirts. That's rare.
Yeah, and that it is rare because obviously we never promoted it, and we could have. It disturbs me to see that many times. Look at Ole. He comes in all cool, slows down, points, runs his mouth. But yeah, but even more than money wise, it just seemed like maybe, I don't know, maybe the TV shows are going to pick up, but boy, this one's not good. And I don't know. Maybe they'll pick up next week. I don't know.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. If it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at SaveWithConrad.com. Well, that's what it's for.
Wait a minute. Did they win? Oh, no. Time limit draw. There you go. That's Tommy's.
And this match is going to be considered a draw by referee Tommy Young.
And what a match it was! The Rock and Roll Express against the Andersons.
I don't know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Conrad. Didn't you say earlier that there was another match? There is.
Television, my Midnight Express going to get in that ring and defend the World Tag Team title against America's team, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA. And you know, I've been coming out here for a long time saying the Midnight Express were the greatest. And everybody said the Rock and Roll Express, they'll never take the belts from them. And I said we would, and we did. Then everybody said, well, the Road Warriors, they'll take the belts off the Midnight Express. I said they wouldn't, and they didn't. Then everybody said America's team, they'll be the ones to win the titles from the Midnight Express. I said they wouldn't, and they didn't. And the bottom line, regardless of all the controversy, you talk about interference, whatever you want to talk about. Every top team in professional wrestling has gotten in the ring with the Midnight Express, had the chance umpteen times to take the belts and hadn't done it. And America's team, in just a few minutes, you're going to get your chance, but you're not going to get the job done. We'll be back in just a minute.
So coming up, it's going to be a big one, and I like that they're keeping you hanging, but I really wish we would have seen more of this and less of some of those godforsaken matches earlier.
I agree because if you look at the time now, what's remaining, and we've got about 5 minutes.
You're going to see 2 minutes of the match, and then we got to go. It's a bullshit routine.
Yeah. Like those belts though, buddy.
Hey, real quick, I want to read this from Jim's book here.
Okay.
The 1986 Great American Bash Tour finished with these numbers on the board. 14 Bash events, grossing over $1.9 million, with 9 gate records set and 2 sellouts. Non-Bash events in the month drew about 575,000, with 4 gate records and 6 sellouts, for a month's total of $2,500,000 gross, 13 gate records, 8 sellouts, over 30 events. The Midnight Express and Jim Cornette earned $22,960 each for the month of July alone, so Vince McMahon was starting to seem much less important. Speaking of competition, on the contractual front, things were looking up for the Express and JC there as well. Their May visit to Connecticut had reached the ear of Jim Crockett, who had promptly offered their first contract they ever signed with a wrestling promoter, a 3-year deal for a minimum of $100,000 per year, no matter what the houses on or their spot on the card, with 1 week all expenses paid vacation to the destination of their choosing. The Midnight Express were making twice as much as their guarantee at that point, but the long-term security and annual vacations made them a lot more comfortable. Since they were still not 3 years removed from some $300 weeks in Memphis, they were where they could have been given 2 weeks notice at any time. These contracts were signed on June 20th, 1986, and coming out of the Bash Tour, the Midnight Express were prepared for another run with the Rock and Roll and the biggest one-night payday of their lives to come with the Road Warriors. So I just found it fascinating that he broke down how successful it was as a month, $2.5 million at the gate, all told through the month of July, that they made $22,000 each, but that they were offered a contract based on them having this meeting with with Vince McMahon in May, of $100,000 a year. And the thing that stuck out the most to me is it was regardless of the house, regardless of the spot on the card. Wait a minute. I thought 10 years after this is when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash claimed to invent guaranteed contracts. Well, if that's true, how are we getting a guaranteed amount of money regardless of the house and regardless of the spot on the card? How's that happening?
Somebody bullshitting somebody.
And baby,
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.